Cambrell, to our mayor, members of our city council, to our chief of police, to all the police officers who are here, to all elected officials and other people who need to be recognized, to all the citizens of Houston. I think that Cambrell said it best when he first got up here. What a magnificent day this is. When Chief spoke, I almost felt as though he had taken away all my speech. Because in a real sense, what he said gives to us the significance of this day. Can you hear me back there? You have it all right. I said to the mayor just a moment ago, if there is another occasion like this in our nation, I don't know of it. Here we are naming the Houston Police Headquarters after retired senior officer Edward A. Thomas, Mr. T, who was a street cop. When Audrey and I came to Houston 6 years ago, we knew him as the officer who patrolled the 3rd Ward. I didn't know then that he also patrolled the 5th Ward and walked. Much of that I learned after we got here. But in the 1950s, and certainly in the 1940s, in the 1950s, everything was segregated. Foley's department store was probably the largest of the department stores downtown. And blacks could go in, but they couldn't try on anything. We could spend our money there, but we couldn't utilize customer services. During that time, there were white and colored signs. During that time, black kids went to black schools and white kids went to white schools. I am not positive if there is another situation like this, but for a city to name its police headquarters building after a black street cop, that says a great deal. I have watched this city grow from the time when there were just a few people like Ed Thomas, to the time when it is a very diverse department. And as you look at the officers who are standing here, from Chief Bradley all the way down, what you see is altogether different from what it was when Audrey and I came here. And I am so very proud of Houston, and most especially proud of Mr. T. He has helped to make this city what it was. He didn't get the publicity, he didn't get the applause, but he very definitely had the influence. When we look at what is happening in our nation in 2015, Ferguson 2014, Baltimore 2015, when we look at what is happening now, we see very much the same thing that we saw in 1948. The difference is that now the better off blacks, the better off Hispanics, the better off minorities can rise above the insults of the lower classes. Those were the people who were influenced by Mr. T. The chief has mentioned already that as Mr. T walked through the 3rd Ward and the 5th Ward, and you have to add the 4th Ward because that was part of his beat too. If he saw children who had skipped classes, he could pick them up, take them home, and I'm sure that there were a number of behinds that were burned because they had been arrested by Mr. T. And for us to take a man who makes those kinds of influences to the underclasses, that's what they were, makes this day a especially historical day. And right now, Delta Sigma Theta is having a convention in Houston. One of their guest speakers today is the Attorney General of the United States, Loretta Lynch. And she's talking about the difficulties that we are facing with relationships between police and citizens. And it's not just any citizens. When you look at where the problem was in Ferguson, where the problem was in Staten Island, where the problem was in Baltimore, it generally is among the people who are at the bottom of the totem pole. And nobody pays much attention to them. Black people can move out of the 5th Ward, out of the 4th Ward, into River Oaks. They don't have to be taking the problems that people at the bottom of the totem pole were. Those were the people who were most influenced by Mr. T. And the reason that I'm so proud of this city right now, I'm not proud of the city for everything. There's some streets I don't want to drive down. But the reason that I'm so proud of this city right now is because I think that it has done something historical. And I really don't think that this has been done in any other metropolitan city in the nation. And I think that most important is that Mr. T didn't simply enforce law. He helped to produce character. The kids who saw him in their neighborhoods saw somebody who not only enforced the law, but who was a real man requiring real character. Mr. T, all of us are very much influenced by you. We count this an important day that we can name the Houston Police Headquarters building after retired senior officer Edward A. Thomas. A P.S. Let's thank God that Chaplain Montgomery became pastor of a church yesterday.